Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're not going to be doing a tutorial, but we're rather going to be messing around with Google's new AI. I just got access to it. This is literally the first time I've opened it, so let's go ahead and just see what this is and what it does. It says Bard is an experiment. As you try Bard, please remember Bard will not always get it right, and Bard will be better with your feedback. And then there's some little paragraphs in here about the details. So I am just going to say got it, and let's go ahead and ask this thing to do something. So as you can see, it's like a little chat prompt box down here. So let's go ahead and just see what this thing can do. All right, I am going to enter a prompt. Let's say, please make me a list of ingredients for buffalo chicken dip, which I will be making this weekend. And let's just see what this thing does. I'm really curious to see if this does anything at all. Again, this doesn't really have to do with Blender, guys. I know that's my normal thing, but here we go. All right, let's see. 2 cups of shredded chicken. That sounds right. Cream cheese, Frank's Red Hot Sauce, and a ½ cup ranch with blue cheese. Now, blue cheese I normally don't put on there, but it is a good addition. But this is really interesting because this is very, very similar to Chat GPT here. So I'm curious to see kind of where this will go. Let's try something else. Let's ask it to write something for us. Write me 10 YouTube video titles involving Blender animation. Let's see if it gets this right. I'd be curious to see if I type that correctly for the AI to handle for us here. All right, let's see. Oh, here we go. Creating a simple animation in Blender. Blender animation tutorial for beginners. How to animate a ball in Blender. Wow, these are actually pretty good. I like these ones right here because they say Blender animation tutorial, and then they have a little colon here, and then create a video. This is really interesting, and these are actually pretty good and simplified, so I actually probably could use this. Let's go ahead and do a more specific one. I'm going to copy this original prompt, but then instead of Blender animation, Blender lighting tips. All right, let's see how it does for this one. Now, again, this is just a demo. I don't think this is like their full version. Oh, wow, that was quick. Okay, so this seems to do this a lot quicker than ChatGPT, which is really interesting because I know that that it's already pretty quick. This was lightning fast though, and these are all very valid titles. Wow, how to create a glare, how to create ambient light, and all of these things actually are in relation to Blender, so they actually all make sense. All right, let's try a new one. Write me a how about this? Write me a proven Instagram caption that will increase my engagement for, oh, I spelled engagement wrong. Engagement for Blender animations. I'm also going to ask it to write me a hashtag list because I really want to see if this is possible here. Again, I was just really excited to kind of try this out. Wow, look at this. Sure, here are a few proven Instagram captions that will increase your engagement for Blender animations. Now, I wonder where it's getting this data from because, again, this is, let's read this first one. Blender animations are a great way to bring your ideas to life. Here are a few tips for creating amazing Blender animations. Wow, this is interesting. And then it outlines a whole thing here. Wow. Now, what's interesting is it gave me 10 different things here. And if you notice in our past conversation, I asked it to do 10 lists or like a list of 10 things. So I wonder if it's kind of taking that into consideration here. This is really interesting. All right, so this was just proven captions. Let's go ahead and say generate a hashtag list for Instagram art posts with less than, how about 100,000 posts per hashtag. Let's see if it can do that. I'll be very impressed if it can do that. I would have to check these hashtags to make sure they all have less than 100,000 posts. Again, there's a lot of strategy behind this actual technique using these hashtags. Okay, so right off the bat, it is not working, and the reason I know that is because hashtag art has like millions of posts, if not more than a billion, so this is actually not going to work right here. So the actual hashtag generator for this probably wouldn't work. Maybe in the future it would if this could somehow be connected to like Instagram's analytics or maybe their like, I don't know, their core like database, but this will not work. Graphic design, I know for a fact, has way more than 100,000 posts. Art festival, art club, all these big ones, these like short names here. Drawing, painting, artist, artwork, these are all going to have way more than 100,000 posts. So this will not work for this specific strategy. However, how about this? Give me 3 great ideas for niche Blender tutorials that people are searching for but can't find videos for. How about that? Let's go ahead and see what this thing tells us now. Now I'm hoping this can tap into Google's like YouTube database and find stuff that people cannot find videos for. Blender tutorials for beginners. I know for a fact that there is plenty of videos covering that topic, so that I'm going to roll that one out. Blender tutorials for creating specific types of models. Okay, interesting. That could be a possible valid answer. Blender tutorials for creating special effects. Okay, I could see people not being able to find a lot of stuff on special effects, so I will actually make that one can be valid. So I'm going to actually say that this was actually a decent answer here. However, I don't know if this is like too broad or not. Let's see. There are many possibilities. It is important to be creative and come up with tutorials that are both useful and unique. So in this case, I don't know if these are the best answers or not. I'm also going to make sure you guys can see me on the screen here. So, all right, let's ask it something else. How about this? Give me 10 websites that I can use to generate art for free. Let's see if this works. I'm curious because I know there's some really basic ones that aren't really built on around AI as much that you can use like to generate like a quick abstract wallpaper. Okay, Google Arts and Culture, ArtStation, DeviantArt, Pinterest, Unsplash, FreePic, Canva, and Pixlr. I've heard of those. Pinterest is more of like, I don't know if you can really generate art with that. These websites offer a variety of features that you can use to create art, such as image generators, art filters, art templates, and art tools. Interesting. I don't know if all of these are really valid. Unsplash is more for like finding stock footage and stock images. So I'm probably going to have to say this one wasn't the best answer. Again, I don't know what the capabilities of this thing are. Let me go back to the top. I think it did actually have a couple of like suggestions for me, but let's go ahead and try something else. Trying to think of what else this thing. Okay, how about this? Write me a poem about the program, about the 3D program Blender. Let's see if it can write me a poem about the 3D program Blender. Blender, oh Blender, you are a wonder. With you, I can create anything my mind can conceive. I can model and texture, animate and render, and bring my dreams to life. You are a powerful tool, but you are also easy to use. You are a friend to all, and I am grateful for you. Thank you, Blender, for all that you do. You are a gift to the world, and I am lucky to have you. Wow, that was actually really sentimental, and I might cry. Now, that was interesting because it actually kind of incorporated different details about the program into its like answer here, so I actually was pretty impressed with that. All right, let's think of something else that we can possibly ask this thing to do. How about this? Write me an email to sell my digital products on Gumroad. The product I want to sell is called Crystal Shader. Let's see what it does, because I actually do have a product that I do sell online. Now, this is a free product, but I'm curious to see what this will say. Okay, here we go. Hi there. I'm excited to announce the release of my new digital product, the Crystal Shader. This shader is perfect for creating realistic crystal effects in your 3D renders. Wow. And you know what's funny? I didn't even mention 3D renders, and yet it was able to kind of determine that a shader had to do with 3D. Interesting. The Crystal Shader features a variety of controls which allow you to customize the look of your crystal effects. That's actually true. You can adjust the color, shape, and size of your crystals as well as their transparency and reflectiveness. All true. The Crystal Shader is also very easy to use. True. Simply add it to any object in your scene and you'll instantly see the results. Yes, that is also true. I'm confident that the Crystal Shader will be a valuable tool for any 3D artist who wants to create realistic crystal effects. If you're interested in learning more or purchasing the Crystal Shader, please visit my Gumroad page, and then you can insert the link here. Thank you for your interest, best, and then I would insert my name here. Wow, that's actually crazy how it was able to come up with that. Now I kind of want to test it and see if it's actually doing its research. Let's try this one. How about this? Write me an email to sell my digital products on Gumroad. The product I want to sell is called Camera Focal Pack. I'm curious what it's going to say for this one because I'm not really giving it any additional information, so it kind of has to assume what the information would be. All right, here we go. Wow, that was quick. Again, much quicker than ChatGPT. Not that that really matters, because I think the result of the prompt and like the answer matters more, but let's see. Hi there, I'm excited to announce the release of my new digital product, the Camera Focal Pack. This pack includes a collection of 10 different camera... Wait a second. How does it know that? How does it know? Because I think it had more than that. Okay, so I think they just might have put 10 in there as like a default number, but that's fine. All in high resolution PNG format. Okay, so that's a little bit off there. That's not exactly what the pack does, but again, I didn't give it that information, so I don't expect it to know that. The camera focal pack is perfect for any photographer or videographer who wants to add some variety to their work. You can use these focal lengths to create everything from wide-angle landscapes to close-up macro shots. That's actually true. Simply download the pack and import the PNG files into your favorite photo editing video software. Okay, so it assumes this is for photographers. However, it still wrote this in a very, very nice manner, and I'm very, very impressed with the ability here. Again, I am live streaming this, guys, so if anybody does comment something that they want me to put in the prompt box, I will. But until then, I'm going to continue to actually just put in my own prompts. So let's try another one. How about this? Write me an engaging Instagram poll that has to do with my artwork. Let's just see. I'm curious to see what this is actually going to give us here. Again, it's very quick, so let's see. Okay, wow, here we go. 5 engaging Instagram polls you can use for your artwork. Which of my artworks do you like best? Awesome. What should I paint next? What is your favorite color? What is your favorite artist? What is your favorite art style? Okay, so what is your favorite color? I'm going to say that one is kind of like eh, but the other ones are actually pretty good. They're short and to the point. All right, let's do this. How about this? Write me 10 Instagram captions that fit on one line involving my latest artwork. I'm just curious to see, again, what this is going to do here. My latest artwork is a reflection of my current state of mind. My latest artwork is a celebration of color and life. My latest artwork is a journey into the unknown. My latest artwork is a gift to myself and the world. My latest artwork is a reminder of the beauty that surrounds us. Wow, these are all pretty good. It's interesting because it's starting it out with the subject, my latest artwork. So this is just really interesting to kind of take a look at and see what kind of results we can get here and like how this thing works. Like what types of questions do we have to ask this thing to get a good result? So let me see something else. I'm trying to think of what else we can possibly ask this thing. I mean, we could ask it pretty much anything. Like, how about this? I'm just curious. What is the fastest way to get from New York? How about this? Times Square to Apple headquarters. I'm curious if it's going to give us directions or what it's going to do. Again, I have no idea what this thing's going to tell us right now. The fastest way to get from Times Square to Apple headquarters is to take the subway. Oh, they're probably thinking Apple headquarters in New York, but it gives you the exact train and like locations and stuff like that. So wow, that is actually pretty impressive. All right, how about this? How would I make a spring in Blender 3D? All right, let's see if it can give us this answer. So again, I'm asking it very specific question about how to model a spring in Blender. Now, I didn't even say model. Oh, wow, look at this. Okay, start by creating a circle. That makes sense. You can do this by Shift-A, selecting circle. Once you have created the circle, rotate it on the Y-axis by 90 degrees. Makes sense. Next, scale the circle down half its size. Move the circle up. Now, use the screw modifier. Yup, I mean, this all is completely accurate. And if I followed all this, this actually would make a screw because I've used this modifier before and it indeed would make a, it would make a spring. But the screw modifier basically takes something and it spirals it. So, wow. All right, let's see here. How can I create realistic texture of metal in Blender? Let's see, Blender 3D. All right, let's see what it says here because we have a lot of options when it comes to this kind of stuff. And since I know some of the answers myself, I'm curious to see what the AI will say. Okay, here we go. Use a reference image. While creating the texture, it is helpful to have a reference image to work from. That makes so much sense. Use a procedural texture. Yep, makes sense. Use a scan texture. Makes sense. Use a combination of textures. And then there's, oh my God, it's actually going through all the details that you would need to actually generate these textures. This is actually really accurate information that has to do with the 3D program. For those of you who are just joining, guys, we're actually playing around with Google's new AI. It's called Bard, and I'm asking it different questions to compare it to ChatGPT. Now, again, I normally don't do these types of videos, but I kind of had to just mess around with it because I got early access to it. So right here, I just asked it to create how to create a realistic texture of metal in Blender 3D, and it gave me a full list of actual answers that actually work. So let's ask it something else. How would I make a 3D model out of an SVG? I'm not even going to ask it any programs or anything. I'm just going to ask it, how would I make a 3D model out of an SVG? There is 1,000,000,010 ways to do this. So let's see. One way is to use Tinkercad. I actually covered this in a video, so that is completely correct. This is actually good feedback, a good answer for this question. Yep, convert 2D images into 3D models. You could use a 3D printer to print the SVG file. Wow, I didn't think about that. That could be cool. And then there's online converter tools. Let's see. It's even tell you how to 3D print. Make sure the SVG is high quality. A high quality SVG will result in a better 3D model. That is very true. Use a converter tool. Yep. All this stuff is 100% good. And the best answer here is that it's saying Tinkercad, which is actually a 3D program that you can get online for free. And I'm actually pretty sure that Google is the owner of Tinkercad. So let's see here. I kind of want to ask it just a general question. How much money does Google make in one day? I don't know if it'll be allowed to answer this or not, or if it'll say it varies, because obviously it does vary. Let's see. Google makes an average of $42 million per day. Oh my God. This is based on the company's revenue from the year 2022, which was $257 billion. Wow, that's it? Google's revenue comes from a variety of sources, including advertising, cloud computing, and hardware sales. Wow. Advertising, yeah, and then it outlines the actual main sources of their income and their revenue, which is interesting because if you take a look at some of this stuff, maybe it'll give you some ideas for businesses. All right, how about this? How about list the most promising niche companies in 2023. Let's see what it can do for this one. Really curious again to see kind of how this is going to react to our prompts here. Ooh, it's thinking. It's thinking. This was a tough one. Okay, so it's giving us kind of like general results, but not specific companies. So companies that are developing new technologies, that's pretty generalized, but it involves the blockchain, virtual reality, yep. Companies that are solving real-world problems. Companies that are disrupting traditional industries. That's interesting. Customers that are building strong customer relationships. Companies. Companies that are growing rapidly. I mean, that was kind of the question itself. But yeah, this is really interesting here. So let's try another one. How about how fast would I have to drive my car to get from New York to California in less than 1 hour? I'm just really curious to see what it's going to say here. If it can calculate this exact speed, that would be incredible because I really need to know this. Oh my gosh, look at this. Is it possible to drive from New York to California in less than 1 hour? The distance between the two cities is 2,800 miles, and the fastest speed limit in the United States is 85 miles per hour. All right, don't be lame, Google. Therefore, it would take at least 33 hours to drive from New York and California at the speed limit. Okay, but what if I didn't follow the speed limit and I could go as fast as I want? I'm curious to see if Google is going to become a law-abiding citizen. Oh my gosh. If you could go as fast as you want, you could theoretically drive from New York to California in less than 1 hour. However, this would be very dangerous and would likely result in a serious accident. The fastest speed ever recorded on a public road was 276 miles per hour. Oh my goodness. And this was done in a very controlled environment. It would be difficult to control a car at that speed, and even a small mistake could be fatal. Oh my goodness. In addition, traveling at such a high speed would generate a lot of heat, which would put a lot of stress on your engine and other components. Very true. This could cause your car to break down and would even leave you stranded in the middle of nowhere. Overall, it's not advisable to drive to New York, from New York to California in less than 1 hour. It is dangerous. It is not possible to do so safely, and it will likely result in an accident. I mean, damn, Google. Okay. So, no, this is really interesting because it's actually giving us, like, an answer as if it was a person. So I'm curious to see how detailed we can get. Like, can I continue this conversation? Like, what if I used the fastest plane in existence? How long would it take me then? Let's see. And again, I don't even know what the fastest plane in existence is. It's probably some military jet or something. The fastest plane in existence is the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, which can reach speeds of Mach 3.38, which is 2,105 miles an hour. But if you fly this plane at its top speed, it would take you about 1 hour and 45 minutes to fly from New York to California. That is insane that it's able to, like, calculate that, though. However, it's not a commercial plane, blah, 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 and you would need a special crew to fly it. That makes sense. Wow, that's crazy. But the fastest commercial flight from New York to California takes about 6 hours. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. How can I create an anti-gravity machine? Let's see what it says here. From homemade objects. Or not homemade, household objects. Sorry, household objects. I probably should have not made that two separate words, but let's see. If Google can tell me how to create an anti-gravity machine, I'm doing it right now. There's no way to create an anti-gravity machine from household objects. Anti-gravity machines are fictional devices that defy the laws of physics by creating forces that oppose gravity. Boring. There is no such evidence that such a device exists, and therefore is no scientific explanation how they would work. Okay. How about this? Why did the government kill Nikola Tesla? I'm just kidding. What were Nikola Tesla's most notable inventions? They better say the motor, or the DC motor. Or is it DC? AC motor? It's one of those two. Let's see. I probably spelled Nikola wrong as well, but let's go ahead and just see what this thing. Here are his most notable inventions. Alternating current motor. Yep. Tesla coil. Wireless electricity. Unreal. And other notable inventions. Neon lamp, fluorescent lamp, and shadowgraph. I don't know what that is. He developed a system of wireless communications that he called Teleforce. How did he die? How did he die, Google? Don't lie to me. Let's see. They're going to say natural causes. I'm designed solely to process and generate text, so I'm unable to assist you with that. Wow, okay. How old are you? Oh my gosh, all caps. How old are you? It's going to say like 2 months, right? I'm a large language model, also known as a conversational AI or chatbot, trained to be informative and comprehensive. I am trained on a massive amount of text data, and I am able to communicate and generate human-like text responses with a wide range of prompts and questions. For example, I can provide summaries of factual topics or create stories. I do not have a physical body or a birth date, and I am not able to age in the same way that humans do. All right, weirdo. Okay, cool. What else could I possibly ask this thing? I mean, I really want to put it through the ringer and ask it, like, something crazy here. Does anybody in the chat have any ideas? How about this? How can I automate... How about this? How can I automate How can I automate my YouTube marketing? Well, I'm just curious what it would say about that. Someone says, AI, I absolutely hate these things. I apologize. If you don't want to watch the live stream, you don't have to. But, again, this is kind of where the world is headed, and I apologize, guys, to be harsh, but you don't really have a choice. So this is going to keep progressing whether you like it or not. All right, so use YouTube Studio to schedule videos. Yep, I actually already do that. Use YouTube Analytics to track your progress. Okay, I already do that. YouTube ads to promote your videos. Use social media to promote your videos. Okay, I mean, this makes sense. I don't know if this is technically automating it, but again, this is kind of what you get here. All right, let's try something new. How about what is the fastest way to become a millionaire? If it says investing, I'm gonna delete this entire program. But it's probably going to say something like that. Invest in a hedge fund. Let's see. Start saving early and often. Yup. Invest your money wisely. Definitely don't do that. Live below your means. Live below your means. No one on earth would ever do that. Be patient and persistent. No one's patient or persistent. Thanks a lot, Google. This doesn't help me at all. Now, actually, the first one's great because if you can start saving early, that'll help you. I mean, these are really, really generalized, and they say there's no way to guarantee to become a millionaire. However, following these tips can increase your chances of success. Cool. All right, let's see this. How about this? Ooh. What do you think of Chat GPT? Is it GPT? What do you think of Chat GPT? It's probably just going to tell me what it is in general. I think Chat GPT is a very impressive language model. It is able to generate human-like text in response to a wide range of prompts and questions. I have found it to be very helpful for a variety of tasks, such as generating creative text formats, translating languages, and writing different kinds of creative content. I am particularly impressed with ChatGPT's ability to generate text that is both creative and informative. It can generate stories, poems, codes, scripts, musical pieces, emails, letters, etc. I have also found that it is able to translate languages with a high degree of accuracy. Overall, I think ChatGPT is a powerful tool and can be used in a variety of tasks. I am excited to see how it continues to develop in the future. Now, what's interesting here is they say that this thing is not human, right? But then it is able to kind of include a word like excited, which is an emotional word, but yet this thing is not emotional or self-aware. But I mean, it might as well be. I'm excited to see how this continues to develop in the future. It's interesting that it had something positive to say about ChatGPT. I mean, it is nice. It's refreshing to kind of see that because it could easily just say, I can't answer that question for you. And it's interesting because if you look here, you can vote whether or not this is a good response, a bad response, or you can do a new response, or you can Google it. So let's go ahead and try something else. Tell me about Kenny Faze's Instagram account. Let's see what it says now. I wonder if it'll be able to actually look up my Instagram account and get information. Look at this. Kenny Fazes is a digital creator on Instagram who shares tutorials, tips, and tricks about 3D art. That is correct. He has over 69,000 followers. That is accurate because that's about where I'm at right now. And his posts typically get around 1,000 likes. Wow, it's able to calculate my average likes per post. Kenny Fazes' Instagram account is a great resource for anyone who is interested in learning more about 3D art. He shares a variety of content from tutorials on how to use specific software to tips on how to improve your 3D rendering skills. He also shares a lot of behind-the-scenes content, giving his followers a glimpse into his creative process. That's true. If you're interested in learning more about 3D art, I highly recommend following Kenny Fazes on Instagram. He's a talented artist and a great teacher. Wow. Thank you, Google. That's very nice of you, but that's really interesting that it was able to determine this. Now, let's try the YouTube one. Tell me about Kenny Fazes' YouTube account. I am just really baffled that it was able to it was able to pull the data from my Instagram. All right. Kenny Fazes' YouTube channel is a great resource for... I'm sorry, I missed a part, guys. Kenny Fazes is a 3D artist and YouTuber who creates videos about 3D art and design. Yup, he has over 100,000 subscribers. That is not true. So I do not have over 100,000 subscribers, although if you guys want to go ahead and subscribe right now, we'll probably get a little closer. His videos typically get around 10,000 views. That's also not correct. I don't think that's my average. Kenny Fazes' YouTube channel is a great resource for anyone who's interested in learning more about 3D art. He shares a variety of content from tutorials on how to use specific software to tips on how to do 3D rendering skills. Yup. Behind the scene process, creative. Yup. All right, cool. So here are some of his most popular videos. How to make a 3D cartoon character in Blender. I did not make this. Wait a second. How to animate a 3D character in Blender. How to render a 3D scene in Blender. So I didn't make any of these. So I don't know if they were looking at a different Kenny Fazes, but now I might have to double check to make sure nobody's using my name somewhere. But interesting. I did not make these videos, so I don't know where it's getting this information from, but this is not correct. I don't have any videos about these topics yet. I mean, I will in the future, but not right now. So, okay, we'll do one last one, and then we'll wrap this up, guys. I hope you're enjoying this. All right, this will be the last question I ask it. Let's think of a good one. How about... What is the easiest way? How about this? List me 10 ways I can make money as a 3D artist. Let's see. Let's see what we get here. It might just pull something from a random article. I'm curious to see like where is it actually getting all of this information from, and how is it generating these? Create and sell 3D models. Yep, that's true. Create and sell 3D textures. True. 3D materials, 3D presets, 3D modeling services, rendering services, animation services, art classes, art tutorials, art blog. I pretty much do every single one of these except for the art blog. My biggest moneymaker would be the like the actual animation services, like getting clients and actually making animations for clients or models or whatever they need. Create a 3D art blog, haven't done that. But this is interesting. These are just a few ways that you can make money as a 3D artist. By being creative and resourceful, you can find many other ways to make money from your skills. Yeah, I mean, great job. Bard is pretty cool, and I don't know, like, can it write code? All right, sorry, this will actually be the last one. Write me a Blender script to generate a damaged cube. Let's see what this can do, because I don't know if this thing can write code similar to GPT, but let's see. Hold up. Blender script. And again, I don't even know if it'll know what I mean by Blender script. Oh, well, it is Python, so we know that's going to be right. Blender script to generate a damaged cube. Define generated damaged cube, and then it locates the cube. Okay, that makes sense. Damage modifier. Now, I don't know. You would have to have this enabled, I guess. And then it sets a value for the damage modifier. Return cube. I guess that adds it to the scene. Oh, no, here it's adding to the scene. Cube equals generated damage cube. Okay, makes sense. Wow. I mean, now I don't know if this is like an add-on, the damage modifier, or because I don't think this is built into Blender. Maybe it would enable it. I don't know. But this is actually pretty accurate. Let me try one more thing here. Generate. I know I said I was done, but now I'm not. Generate a Blender Python script to output multiple images from multiple cameras in the same scene. Let's see if it can do that. I'm really curious if this will work. This will actually be the last one. I'm cutting myself off after this, and I'm gonna make myself lunch. All right, let's see. Wow. Okay, sure. Here's Blender Python script to output multiple images from multiple cameras in the same scene. It's defining some variables. Let's see. It's deciding directories. Let's see. Does it decide multiple directories? That was actually really quick. I think that this worked. Yeah, I think it worked. Loop through the cameras. That's a for loop, which is going to loop through the cameras. That makes sense. I mean, I'm not an expert with Python, but I'm pretty sure that's a for loop. And output directory equals blah, blah, blah. Yup, makes sense. And then for all the cameras, you would render the scene, and then you would decide where the image is getting outputted to and save the image there. And then return, I guess, just ends your little function there. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this would work. I've pasted code in from ChatGPT before, and it's like kind of worked. But you mean, if you know about Python, you could probably fix any mistakes or errors within this. But again, we generated a Blender script. I mean, I'm pretty impressed. All right, one last one. Even though I said I was done, I'm not again. How about this? What node setup could I use for Blender to make a wood material? I mean, I know this is a more complex node setup, so let's see what, like if I was to actually make this, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. I'm not that skilled with nodes, but let's see what it says. Because again, I'm defining very specific things. So, okay, here we go. Create a new material, open the node editor, add a noise texture node, set it to scale of 100, gradient texture, noise texture, yup. Let's see, connect the noise texture to the gradient texture and then material output node. Yeah, that makes sense. And then it's saying this is just one example of a node setup, but it's saying you can use a roughness node to create variation in the surface of the wood, and then, wow, to combine different shaders. Wow, it's actually outlining exactly how you would actually have to do this to create the specific look for this wood texture. This is pretty accurate. I think there's a few missing steps here, but again, if you did do this, you would get some kind of texture. If you know about Blender, I mean, you'd have to search for like the area that you find the node editor in, which is under like shading tab. But yeah, this is pretty accurate. So I'm actually pretty impressed with the ability for this thing to actually do what it's doing. I'll probably have to mess around with this more. I mean, this is free as far as I'm concerned. I don't think I'm paying for it. So unless Google somehow has my credit card, but this is really, really impressive. I was really happy to just be able to share this experience with you guys on my live stream and on YouTube. I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too boring. I had fun just kind of messing around with it. If you guys like videos like this, I will cover more stuff like this. I know you guys are mainly here for the Blender stuff and the artwork, but again, every now and then I'm going to try something different. So I do hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you in the next tutorial.